Okay, let's clear up a few things. Hey guys, this is Jules from True Crime Reactions. Yesterday, I posted a 27-minute long video where I categorically broke down these 800 pages of search warrants that were released in the Idaho 4 homicide case. Now, when I was doing my timeline comparison for when these search warrants were obtained and served, and compared it to when we knew that law enforcement had Bryan Kohberger's actual name, a lot of people were in the comments asking how I knew that. It was on November the 29th. And I started thinking about how this could have been missed by so many people because it's in the exact same document release that is the probable cause affidavit, where we all learned for the very first time that Dylan had eyes on the suspect. Dressed in black, bushy eyebrows, all them things. I think that most likely took over the attention when it came to this probable cause affidavit, because up until then, we had no clue that anyone had seen anybody. We thought we were looking for a phantom, okay? So I went ahead and I pulled it back up. I had it saved on my computer. I don't have the link to it, but all of these files are on the Idaho website where everything for these are. But on page 18 is where it starts. And I'm just going to read like 2 paragraphs to you. And I'm going to have them up on the thing next to me so you can read along, okay? So it states, on November 25th of 2022, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for white Hyundai Elantras in the area. On November 29th at approximately 12:28 a.m., so barely half an hour after midnight, WSU police officer Daniel Tiengo queried white Elantras registered at WSU. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate LFZ8649. This vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger, hereafter Kohberger, residing at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201, Pullman, Washington. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way, last camera location that picked up the white Elantra. This next paragraph is where I get they had his name on November the 29th. That same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., so just 30 minutes later from what I originally just said, WSU officer Curtis Whitman was looking for white Hyundai Elantras and located a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra at 1630 Northeast Valley Road in Pullman in the parking lot. Now this is the apartment complex. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is an apartment complex that houses WSU students. Officer Whitman also ran the car and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. I reviewed Kohberger's WA, Washington, state driver's license information and photograph. This license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 foot and weight of 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male, redacted, which we know is Dylan, saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. So, I was wrong saying that they found the car at the actual WSU parking lot, but it was a WSU campus police officer that looked into their system and found the Hyundai Elantra that was registered to someone that either went or worked at the school. And instead of sending Moscow PD to Kohberger's residence to check out the white Hyundai Elantra, it looks like they sent another WSU officer, another campus officer to the apartment to check out the car. But this is all on November the 29th. And if you read up the whole thing up until that time, they don't mention his name. They only mention the car, and they talk about all of the different places that they saw the car whenever they were going through the traffic cameras. Up until that entry about them querying the WSU portals, I guess, there's no mention of his name. So that's where I've always said this. Since this released, they had his name as of November 29th. They still allowed Xana's sister to walk the same campus as the potential killer for I don't even know how many days before break. Because this is November the 29th. From what we're understanding, he didn't even leave town until, like, what was it? December 15th, right? 2-ish weeks. 2-ish weeks. So I'm wondering if we're going to get any actual information about what they did to, like, follow him and study him up until he actually left. Because that's 2 weeks. But I just wanted to clear that part up, because when I'm telling you, I had so many comments, and all of them, most of them were just fine. How are you so sure that it was November 29th? How do you know that that's the date that he had the name? Of course, we had some jerk faces that were on there like, ew, you just sound so confident, like you just know everything. Well, because I can read. It's right here. It states it. It shows it. I'm not making anything up. I'm not speculating out of my butt, okay? I read text and my brain tries to put puzzles together. This was just something that stood out to me because, to me, timelines and all those things are extremely, extremely, extremely important. But yeah, this is where I get November 29th from. I went to bed last night and I was like, I've got to clear this up in the morning before work because it seems like a lot of people are like confused. But this probable cause affidavit, the one where everyone was just flabbergasted and floored at the fact that Dylan actually had eyes on the guy, is the one that gives this information about the date they had his name. And something else that's pretty important to think about here, whenever you think about the dates of these search warrants and how so many of them, a majority of them, were issued prior to that November 29th date, it's very possible that the redacted names in all of this are people that were cleared, like Jack, like Hoodie Guy, like Adam, people that were around the victims. And that would make a lot of sense because of the dates. And some people were commenting that, and I totally agreed. I'd actually tried to mention that in my last video, guys, but my border collie twins are psychotic, and they crazy wrestle with each other like pretty much all day, and they were doing that in the background, and it just sounded like my house was falling apart as elephants were stampeding through. I couldn't do anything to get it out of the background, so I had to cut it out. But yes, all of the people that commented that possibility, yes, that is very common sense, that is very logical. Yes, that is the kind of thinking I like to see here. Okay, well, I gotta get to work now. See ya.